Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Accelerated Health Radio and TV. I'm your host, Sarah Banta. I'm a health coach, natural supplement expert, and a busy mom of 3 teenagers. I believe that your body does want to and is capable of rebuilding and healing itself regardless of what chronic disease you may have. And I'm here for you to answer your questions and bring you innovative and cutting-edge technologies and health solutions to empower you and your ability to reach your optimal state of health. Today, my guest will be talking about relationships, nutrition, and hormones, and how your relationships affect your overall mental and physical health, and vice versa. I know that you really need that strong physical foundation in order to work on your mental, spiritual growth. And whether it's overcoming anxiety and depression, losing weight, or detoxing your body, and even increasing your level of frequency in life, which we will be talking about as well today with our guest, you need that strong physical foundation of health in order to gain the willpower to make the bigger changes in life. If you're new to following me, I specialize in helping you get there. You can find my health articles, cutting-edge natural supplements and devices, and protocols at acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I dive into an array of health conditions, their causes, symptoms, and how to address them naturally. And I've spent thousands of dollars and hours so that you don't have to trying out other technologies and supplements that don't work. And now, Accelerated Health Products is the sponsor of the show. So as you support my website, I'm able to bring you more cutting edge content and guests to the show. And as we're going to be diving into how to optimize your hormonal health through nutrition today and how it affects your relationship, I want to talk about what I'm doing now that is beyond successful, and I'm so blown away by the results. We are doing free monthly group coaching that comes with the Accelerated Ascent Diet Cleanse. And it's the most comprehensive cleanse that I have. And the groups have gone through it. Their results have been phenomenal. Easy fat loss for those stubborn pounds. Blood sugar is getting normalized. Insulin's getting normalized. Increased physical and mental energy. Better bowel movements, which is super important for detoxification. A decreased appetite and the ability for most to intermittent fast all day or for 22 to 24 hours. Some have even taken it to a 48-hour and a 72-hour fasting period, which has blown me away. And these are people that were eating 6 meals a day. So I got them to the point through the supplements, making it super easy to get that flipping that switch so that you are fat burning. You get better sleep, less moodiness. You actually increase the cellular permeability in your body, which shows you your risk of cancer. So that is huge. Not just fat loss, but visceral fat loss. And you also at the end flush out hundreds to thousands of gallstones or liver stones out of the body safely. And you get to be able to get off your medication safely as well. So the difference between me and any other group coaching is I provide the cutting edge frequency enhanced supplements that work synergistically with each other and your body. And then you don't experience those flu-like symptoms where you're hangry. You actually feel great and your relationships improve. So today, during our show, leave a comment below if you're interested or check out the website, acceleratedhealthproducts.com. I would love to have you join us. The next one is May 3rd. We start every first Monday of the month. Now to the good stuff. My guest is a returning guest because he's so phenomenal. John Gray is the author of the most well-known and trusted relationship book of all time, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. USA Today has listed his book as one of the top most influential books, and I can tell you it has been in my household. He has written over 20 books, and his most recent book is Beyond Mars and Venus. His books, blogs, and free online workshops are at marsvenus.com, and they provide practical insights to improve relationships of all stages of life and love. Welcome, John. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be with you. I feel like I want to do a cleanse. I just finished one, but listening to you sounds great.
Well, I want to touch on your cleanse because I listened to you about it, and I would love to have you do mine and experience it and experience the difference because number one, what these people are going through during the cleanse has made me think a lot about you because you talk about hormones and stress and your relationships, right? And we're talking about relationships in the bedroom and just living with your spouse, relationships with your friends and your kids and everything. And if it's all about hormones.
It really is about hormones. We're really getting that. I mean, we know the brain, the heart, the liver, and everything, but all of that working well produces hormones that make you function with love in your heart and stress goes down. And if you don't have all the good things you're talking about with health and wellness and so forth, your hormones go out of balance. You're producing stress hormones. Basically, you can't have your heart be open. It's just a fact that when your cortisol levels are chronically high, your brain cannot focus on what's good. It has a bias towards negativity. It only sees what's wrong with things. Your mind is filled with complaints, either complaints about your partner, complaints about your job, or you're just distracting yourself from complaints about yourself, or you're complaining about society. And, so many of these people who are activists, God bless them, they want to go out and be active, but they always look at somebody else as the problem. They can't look at their own self as the problem. We need to find a balance. And that balance is letting go of stress. And the only way you can let go of stress, period, is to work on yourself. As long as my coping with stress is depending upon changing other people, changing my partner, changing the world, whatever it might be, nothing wrong with trying to do that, a little bit leaning into that. But when we're preoccupied with how bad things are and what's not working, which we see happening today, our own stress levels will be high. You only have the power to change yourself. You really don't have the power to change other people. You can influence, but you can fully change yourself. And one of the most powerful things, I always get excited talking to you, Sarah, is because you're so into the natural stuff and to the healing and to the cleansing of the body. When you take when you take the right supplements and the right support to be able to literally enjoy your fast, then your stress levels are low. You're saying to your body that we don't have to worry about changing the outer world. Everything's okay. Then the body will start doing its self-healing process. And a part of that first thing that happens is when you go into that fat burning mode, you're no longer producing cortisol. It's the cortisol, which is a stress hormone, that puts us into the sugar burning mode where we crave the carbohydrates. Our appetite is so strong. When the reality is if you've got extra fat on your body, you just have to do something, nourish your adrenal gland, lower the stress levels in your body, provide the support it needs, and you've got months. Actually, I've done 30-day fasts quite easily in my younger years because I had the extra fat to burn. But you have to be able to burn the fat. We are a grocery store. If you look at anybody who's overweight, they're a big grocery store. Your body's waiting for that fuel to come in, but it's in a place of fear. So it says when you're afraid you don't have enough, you store fat. That's one way of looking at it. There's certainly many other ways of looking at it. But it's those stress hormones inhibit our ability to utilize the natural fuel, which is all this fat in our body. We use that. And when you're burning that fat, you're calm, you're at ease, your adrenal gland is relaxed, and then you want to have nourishing nutrients to restore the adrenal gland, because that's where we get the hormonal balance. A lot of women are, they're already at premenopausal, they're menopausal, or they're after menopause, and their hormones they have such low levels of estrogen, which is not necessary. Certainly it will naturally go down as you get older, but it has to be in balance with your male hormones, with your testosterone. You just need more estrogen when you're making babies because it allows your body to make the baby. However, once you can't make babies anymore, you're not making estrogen from your ovaries, basically your adrenal gland. That's the power. The adrenal gland kicks into gear. And if you've been running on stress most of your life, the adrenal gland gives you no hormones as you get older. And for women, they need 10 times more estrogen than a man in order to be happy. And when women have lower than that average, their cortisol levels will be elevated. So it's, people say, oh, John, how can you simplify it down to make more estrogen? Your stress levels will go down. Well, we just know that anytime you're producing cortisol levels, if you're a woman, your estrogen levels are low. Now, there's 1,000 things you can do to boost your estrogen levels, but that's the reality. To give us the direction to go towards estrogen production rather than testosterone production. And anytime you're earning money, you're making testosterone. Sorry, ladies, but that's just the reality. Unless you feel I have a tremendous amount of support in my life, so I enjoy making money. A lot of women are in this overwhelmed state of feeling this pressure, worried about money, worried about solving problems, worried about this, worried about that. Anytime your brain is looping and worry and concern and problems, and you see it, that is the biological symptom. We have millions of years of evolution that when we're in danger, our brain goes into a bias of 10 times more negativity. You cannot see the potential. You basically can only see what's wrong and what you have to do about it. And if you have to do something, that magic phrase, I have to do something, that makes male hormones. That makes testosterone. Mm-hmm. Whenever you feel, I get to do this, it's like I listened to you talking about a cleanse and having support, which is so, so important, that you're not doing it alone. I don't have to do it by myself. I've got help. I've got expert help. I've got supplements that are natural without any dangerous side effects. This can be easy. That feeling of I have the support, I can get, that is estrogen producing. That's why women love to shop. Actually, it produces estrogen. It's because, I got this. Right now, many women are like addicted to shopping because they can't go out and get, the normal life stimulation. At least I can go on Amazon. I can buy things. And that feeling of I can have. But you never want to be too dependent on just one thing, become superficial at a certain point. But there's this feeling of I have support. I can have support. I can get what I want. And listen to the terminology. This is what our brain does. If you feel I get to, I enjoy doing it, I love to, that's going to produce estrogen. If you feel I have to, that's it. That's the testosterone producer. I have to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't like doing this. I have to do this. That's a testosterone producer. Now, if you don't know how to cleanse, for example, you have to do new things, but you need to change that little thing in your brain, which is saying, oh, I have to do this. I don't want to do this, into I get to do this. I'm so lucky that I have support to do this. I have role models to do this. I have a team of people who are all going through this with me. That all those little thought processes stimulate. Those are the kind of thought processes that stimulate estrogen. And estrogen is the key factor hormone for a woman's well-being, whereas testosterone is the primary hormone for a man's well-being. But even as a man, listening to you, going through the support team and so forth, he has a female side, but he needs the knowledge of knowing, with this information that I didn't know before, I now have the power to do what I have to do if I want to be healthy. And I just want to say to both our male and female side, we all have a male side. And what's missing today, when you listen to mass media, this scare thing about COVID and about the virus and all of that, what they're not saying to you is, and I just saw this on news, another news report, 82% of the people who catch this SARS virus 2, which they're labeling as COVID, but it's SARS virus. SARS viruses, coronaviruses have been around for the longest time. This is just another one that's more contagious, and it is more effective in killing people only if they're like in their 80s or they're obese. 82% of the people who go to the hospital or who die with COVID, 82% are obese. If you just lose weight, if you just cleanse your body, you don't die from these things. You don't worry about this stuff. Getting the flu, getting a cold, it's a natural cleansing. Our lives are so toxic. The body is going to have flus and colds. What comes out of you at those times? It's your body saying, let's get rid of this stuff. And you don't have to catch colds and flus if you choose to get rid of that stuff. And that's what cleansing is. It's using wisdom to help your body take a rest. And I love cleansing. It's something that, oh my gosh, look how young I look, how alive I am. I'm 70 years old. The best sex life I could ever imagine, more love in my life, more motivation in my life, ambition in my life. Where does that come from? I'm still a young guy because I haven't let these accumulated things build up in my body. And, these are on one hand, cleansing is so important. On the other hand, exercise is so important. And I'm not extreme in any of these things. I have been at times in my life, but generally speaking, I'm pretty moderate. But my lifestyle is such that I only eat one meal a day now. I'm habitually, because my blood sugar is stable. I would never recommend to somebody that you just go right into one meal a day and splurge whenever you want. Occasionally I have a lunch with someone, whatever. I can eat if I want. But to be free means you have stable blood sugar. So, there's a very interesting thing about the youth hormone. The youth hormone is, there used to be a lot of press on this. I don't hear it much anymore, but it's called the growth hormone, human growth hormone. And people were getting supplements and, growth hormone injections, expensive, and they were able to feel young again. Their muscles were working. For men, their sex drive was back and whatever. And that was taking human growth hormone. Well, you know what? When you make human growth hormone, when your body makes it, is when you can go for 5 hours without eating, without needing to eat. So it's not like just willpower. I'm going to go 5 hours without eating. It's that you have enough stable blood sugar so that you can go 5 hours without eating. That means I'm not hungry. I'm not needing snacks. Now, some people are obese and fat and problems. They're going to need to take snacks for a while till they learn to eat the right snacks and the ways and the techniques and the supplements to balance blood sugar. But once you progress on this path and you can start sustaining a healthy blood sugar level, then you don't get hungry for 5 or 6 hours. Mm-hmm. And that means that all you have to do, if you're going for 5 or 6 hours, that much fasting, they've proven that will now generate in your brain growth hormone. It's as if your body needs 5 or 6 hours to integrate what you've just used. And now that it's integrated it, what you've just eaten at lunch or at breakfast, you've just integrated it. Now your body says, oh, now we're going to use it and regenerate the body. But if you don't give your body a chance to integrate it first, then the body can't produce human growth hormone to regenerate it and keep you young. Here's for fun. I'll tell you, I'm going to live to 132 years old. I've set that goal. And every year I get younger. I mean, it is amazing once you understand the power of cleansing. But I want to also mention, I'm just on a roll. I get inspired by what you say, Sarah. So I'll let you ask me some questions in a moment.
Keep going.
This is my audience. I love it. And I do want to mention at the end, we'll tell you where you can get my wellness book. I have a free wellness book online for people with some of my ideas. But I just have to say, Sarah and I are doing the same stuff. She's just giving you the wisdom and the support that we're all missing today. Do you hear on the news when they talk about how many people are getting COVID and going to the hospital and dying from this? If they would just say every time, and guess what, folks? Only the people who are obese, 82% of the people who actually need to go to the hospital because they have severe symptoms or die, 82%. It's because you're obese. If you weren't obese, you wouldn't be in that number. Another statistic. And so then if we had a national program, when John F. Kennedy was president and I was in junior high school, John F. Kennedy said, work out America, something like that. And we all started doing sit-ups and calisthenics and exercise. And there was a gym class. And it was like the president got behind health. If we could have done that with COVID, we could have said, hey, this is just a more contagious, dangerous flu, but you've got the power, lose weight. Let's do America, lose weight. America, let's cleanse. Imagine if we had done that from the motivation that comes with, hey, you're going to die if you don't do this program, and give people the knowledge of how to do it. They just don't have the knowledge. And if every time, instead of seeing how many people went to the hospital, how many people are dying from this, we would just say every time, and guess what? You can solve this problem. But what did they do? They say, oh, if you just take vaccinations, it will save the day. We waited for a year to take vaccinations. It's going to save the day. Always looking for the solution outside, which will never help your body become stronger. Only weakens your body when you become dependent on something that's not natural. The world is here to nourish and support us. And yes, we have challenges and issues that come up. And the wisdom of what people have known for thousands of years is you can take this herb, you could take this particular food, you can have this particular cleansing element, you can do these probiotics from fermenting foods. These have been things that have been around for thousands of years. And you might be thinking, if you're not educated in all of this and you just believe propaganda, You might be thinking, well, yeah, people have done this stuff for thousands of years. But people today are using medicines and drugs with side effects, but they're healthier. So we're so much healthier today than before. And that is a complete lie. And that throughout history, people were much healthier until they started living in cities. And it was lack of sanitation. It was the lack of sanitation that caused people to get sick and prematurely die and have all kinds of sicknesses. But right now, there are green zones or red zones, whatever they call them, these places where people are healthy at 100 because they don't live in cities. They live in the mountains. They have pure water. They grow their vegetables. It's organic. They visit each other. And there's no particular diet, just to say this. The people have written these books and gone to these places. I've done a little bit of that investigation, gone to these places. Their diets are all different. Okay, they're not like one diet. What the diet is, it's natural. It's pure water. And the most important thing that's consistent everywhere is purity in the food, traditional food. That's a key thing, traditional food for that area and that climate. And then, because see, over the time, wisdom grows. People figure out, if I eat this, I get stomach aches. Don't eat that. It's like takes time, and culture develops this. Traditional foods in particular areas, if it's pure, will make you healthy. But the other factor that was found out is that they all socialize. They interact, they sing, they visit, they have big families, they help each other, their communities. That's social responsibility, interacting with other people with love, with joy, with happiness, with education, grandparents participating in raising of the children, that harmony, which also has this drama too. Everybody has some drama there. You have to be perfect with this. But they would have interactions. Social life was very important. You know what our social life is today for so many people? They sit in front of a TV screen, and that's their social life. We all love, Cheers, go to the place where you have friends. And these are our friends. They're the people on TV. These are not our friends. And then you have social media. These are not your friends. These are little digital things which can educate you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just we do too much of it. And that we need more personal interaction with people, with sharing, with talking. Myself as a teacher, I like listening to YouTube talks of intelligent people who are changing the world, of insightful, inspiring things for me. But more powerful is when I have salons with other people of like mind. I have other author friends, for example, and we have dinner together and we talk our theories. This is how people used to do it until we got obese and we just depend on TV. If I watch too much TV, I generally will watch one show a night. I like a little entertainment. If I do more than that, then I want to eat. I've balanced blood sugar. I don't need that. And fortunately in my life, I've traveled a lot to China in my work. They love my work there as well. Or in other places that speak a different language. So you can't watch TV in those places. There's nothing on TV, and you're in a hotel room and there's nothing to eat. I stop bringing any snacks in or anything And so that's kind of how I trained myself to be free from needing all these snacks and all this stimulation and so forth, because I feel so much better as a result of it. So to make these changes, we need support. And so when Sarah's telling you there's a group support that you can get, I highly recommend it. It's the way you make changes. It's literally showing up. And, another version of that would be having someone coach you. I think Sarah does coaching as well. But just to have that sense of accountability, somebody actually could just say, what did you eat today? And already you're going to become overly conscious of, I just ate a bunch of junk that I shouldn't be eating. Well, we all do it. You don't make yourself bad. You just have to become aware. See, we have these impulses inside of us that are not productive. And by keeping them secret and private, even to ourselves, by not ignoring that I ate this and now that's why I'm this way, they have power over you. It's darkness. And all you have to do is shine a light on it and keep shining a light on it. It goes away. You don't have to do anything to remove darkness. You just need light. You need wisdom. You need understanding. You need love. You need support. And you need pure foods. And if you've been toxic and you've had toxic foods, the reason cleansing saved me is because when I travel, I eat airplane food. I eat not that much, but I eat in restaurants and so forth. That's not organic food. Anytime you go to a restaurant, you're not getting real organic food. Because it's some kind of extreme restaurant. You're not going to find that when you travel. I don't worry about having anxiety about it because I know that I have a body that can purify. We are designed to purify. One thing I would like to mention, I don't know if Sarah recommends this or not, but I also combine, and I do this every day, or every other day, I do a relaxed sauna. Do you know what relaxed sauna, Sarah?
Yes, I do.
You know,
far infrared sauna.
Yeah, the far infrared sauna. It is a sauna which it has a certain frequency of light band that goes perfectly with your body. And within 15 minutes, you just sit in this little, you turn on and sit there for 15 minutes, you'll break out into a full sweat. And when you sweat, you're detoxifying your body. That's your body, one of your body's detoxifying modes, and generating a fever. Now, another problem for people, the three big things I say people need right now as far as this COVID thing and all this fear of everything, get rid of those extra pounds. Now you're going to start protecting yourself. That's what you really need. Next is, of course, vitamin D. If you're not getting sunshine, get your vitamin D levels tested. Nobody dies of COVID if their vitamin D level is above 19. That's a very low level. Anybody who dies, it's below 19. Why don't they tell you on the news, get a vitamin D level, and if you're above 19, you won't die. Okay, already that's going to take away fear and anxiety and stress. And then look at it. If you're above 30, and 50's the average and normal, I think 80 or 100 is me. That's really great vitamin D levels. But if you go out in the sun and you don't get burned, but you're out in the sun, you will in that day, you'll pump it up several points, just that, all the way up to 60, but it will go back down again if you're not getting sun. So you take vitamin D3. So taking vitamin D3 isn't proven to cure you of anything, but you don't get sick if you have a healthy level of it. Right. And so what you do is test to see. And taking vitamin D3 has proven to, over time, in a month, will bring it up to 50 or 60. So if you're already sick, just taking it's not going to necessarily be, it could be a fix. We just don't have the data on it. I like data. But basically, the data shows, they always talk about the data, the science shows you don't die unless it's under 19. You don't go to a hospital unless it's under 30. If it's above 30, stop worrying about it. No big deal. No big deal. So this is what we have to get, all this stuff, even when I have to eat out at restaurants and whatever. I think, for me personally, no big deal. I'm going to have a fun time because socializing and having a fun time is also one of the healthiest things you can do rather than worrying about what did I just put in my body. Our bodies are amazingly resilient if we use our body's healing potential. It doesn't heal if you're producing stress hormones. So you've got to learn how to reduce stress hormones, and you also have to give your body a chance to relax and simply not have to be working hard to digest food. We have something called enzymes that digest our food. If you're not eating food and you have stable blood sugar, those enzymes will actually go and eat up toxins. They go and they eat them up. They're gone. They're gone. It's kind of like, it's a miracle. And I like to give an example of what this is I say to my kids, they have a cloth that has a spot on it. And I just put water on the spot. And I said, now watch what happens just with water. And you put water on that spot and just gently rub it, and the spot goes away. Now, don't even rub it with a towel, because the towel, if it's a big stain, you got to have a towel to take some of the dirt off. But just water itself, the dirt will disappear. It's gone. Where did it go? The water literally changed the composition of it and integrated it in and purified it. It doesn't go anywhere. It's transformed. It's the most magical thing is to realize just that you have a spot. Just put some water on it. Where did it go? It's like magic. This is what water is. That's why we want to drink plenty of water or eat plenty of vegetables. I'm not a fanatic on drinking so much water, although if I'm doing my saunas, I want to drink some extra water. Mm-hmm. But you're also getting water when you eat vegetables. So vegetables have water in them. Fruit has water in it. And so, but also you need to get enough water. Dehydration is not a good thing. You can't heal when you're dehydrated. So if you're cleansing, you want to have lots of water in your system or lots of drinks in your system. And that's a good thing as well. So what you're doing is you're nourishing your adrenal gland. Now, as far as supplements go, and I'll talk about little behaviors that go with producing those hormones.
John?
Yeah.
I want to take a short commercial break. Like I said, we could go on for 4 hours, and we're going to have you back on again, because this is just so speaking my language right here. But I want to come back and go over the supplements you recommend, and also how the microbiome is connected to your female and male hormones and just overall health. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back with Dr. John Gray. Welcome back to Accelerated Health Radio and TV. I'm your host, Sarah Banta, the owner of Accelerated Health Products. And today we have Dr. John Gray talking about relationships and nutrition. John, you were going to start talking about the supplements and also the microbiome as it relates to hormones, which then leads to relationships. And all of this is related. So I hope all the listeners are getting to the point where they realize physical, mental, and spiritual health are all intertwined. And you've got to feed your soul. You've got to give yourself grace. The fear causes cortisol to rise up. The cortisol causes your blood sugar to go up, and the blood sugar is going to cause you to store fat. So obviously we want to get off that train, and we want to reverse the cycle. So John, why don't you talk about what you find is the most important? Because yes, people could fast, but then they think, oh, well, then I get to eat all the junk I want when I'm done with fasting. Well, that's not the point either. So let's talk about nutrient density and what vitamin supplements that you recommend during a cleansing process, or just to feed the hormones in general.
Well, and you also talked about the microbiome, and that's a big topic these days. A lot of research being done on. I became introduced to the microbiome. One of the books I never published, but I wrote, and then I decided I didn't want to publish it, but I wrote another book on ADD. What is that called? That's called Staying Focused in a Hyper World, Natural Solutions for ADD, Memory, and Brain Performance. But a lot of that came from my original research on speaking at autism conferences, participating, learning from other experts, as well as sharing my own ideas. And that's where, I guess about 5 years ago it was, where really there was an explosion of recognition that the microbiome, what's going on in your gut, has a huge effect on your mood. Mood determines well-being, right? I feel happy. I feel good. I feel loving. I'm not feeling irritated. I'm feeling annoyed. I'm not feeling overwhelmed. I'm not feeling pressured. I'm not feeling depressed. I'm not feeling anxiety. Any of those things I just mentioned there, that's stress hormones. That's going to inhibit your body's ability to burn fat. When you can't burn fat, then the only way you get your fuel is from sugar. So that's all your carbohydrate cravings are coming from your inability to burn fat. And it's a spiral that goes down, because as you depend on sugar in order to have energy, sugar will then go up, insulin gets produced, the body utilizes some sugar, and then your insulin levels, your sugar levels drop, because that sugar is now toxic to the body. Too much is an acid. It will be converted into triglycerides, a form of fat that's harder to burn. So the outcome of too much sugar is your body will convert it, because it's dangerous. It causes wrinkles, it causes aging, it causes brown spots. Literally, it ages your body, unused sugar. So when it's so much sugar, your body doesn't need it, can't absorb it. It gets turned into triglycerides, which is a form of fat, which gets stuck in your cells, and it's harder to burn until you get into ketosis, where your body is not burning, depending on sugar for its fuel, but able to utilize and use the supermarket of your body, what you're storing there. And one of the reasons cleansing can be so helpful in that is to get you not just following a keto diet or something. I've done that several times. I'm not a keto diet all the time. I like all kinds of foods. I just try to make sure they're natural and pure. And I've gone through all kinds of diets and everything. And I'm back to, listen, I'm super healthy. I'm energetic. I feel good. I try to eat pure food, and then I cleanse. And I stay off of I don't buy any cookies. I don't buy any junk food. I just don't put it in my house. And I'll tell you, this is challenging for people, because if it's in your house and you're feeling stressed, your brain will say, I want my cookies.
Yeah.
It just will do it. You have literally, it's like an addiction. I'll share my addiction. And that is, I think it's the only addiction I have. And I don't have addiction to negative thoughts. I don't have addiction to sex. I only have loving sex. That's another part of my vitality as a man. I would never have sex with somebody I didn't fully love. Men just don't understand how they're losing their passion and their life and their ambition and their strength by either having porn sex, having self-sex, instead of using that energy to make love. That's a whole nother subject in itself, but it's really one of the healthiest things you can do is only have sex. Sex is life force energy. You can what's called sublimate it, which is in Think and Grow Rich, one of the classic books for success, particularly men who want to be successful read it, but also women. Mindset for Success. But he interviewed all these famous successful guys. They all sublimated their sex drive. And what that means is that they didn't waste it without love, and they didn't waste it just for pleasure on themselves. They used that energy in some creative way. And through service to other people, or serving people through your own talents, through your own disciplines, and so forth. And fasting is a great discipline. I say for men, if you want to strengthen your masculinity, learn to fast, because you have to, the willpower has to overcome. But women also want to have a strong male side along with a strong female side. And your motivation there for a woman is the most feminine thing there is, which is to nurture health. You see, when you're caring for a child, you want it to be healthy. That's a caring, nurturing energy. Now you're going to nurture yourself, and you're going to do what's good for you. So microbiome. So when I was dealing with the autistic people, I met a doctor who was having tremendous benefits for autistic children. And he had developed a probiotic. It's called Bravo probiotic. Have you familiar with that, Sarah? Have you heard of that?
No, not heard of that brand.
Okay, so you can do Google searches for Bravo, Bravo probiotics. And it's literally a little formula that you get from Switzerland, which is going to make your own yogurt. And you can't buy it in a store because things die. Once you refrigerate it, it's going to have less potency. So you actually have to put a little work into it, and you make the yogurt. You mix 3 packets together with milk, and it then turns into a yogurt. And even if you can't handle dairy, usually with this you can, and you just start in low doses. Some people, you have to start with just a teaspoon of this yogurt because it will cause so much detoxification. Mm-hmm. It's literally amplifying your body's ability to utilize food. And this is what the microbiome does, is that it is all these microorganisms, which we used to call germs, now we call the microbiome, because we realize that 90% of our body are all these microorganisms, and we're just a little part of the body, the human. But that's necessary in order to produce vitamins. These little guys inside of your belly produce your vitamins, and they digest your food, and they do everything that is good, and some of them do bad things if they're too much, kind of like weeds. Some grow really fast, and because that's the idea of candida. If you eat too much sugar, you're feeding the weeds that keep all the good bacteria from having enough space to do what they need. So I did 3 months. I've done it a few times where I just did it 3 months every day. I had the Bravo yogurt, but it really dramatically increased my stamina in my life. Didn't need that drop. It helped stabilize my blood sugar and so forth. And there's lots of wonderful products with probiotics. That's just one I found to be the best. You can find out more about that through my videos on that at marsvenus.com. I also have a wellness store there, and that's one of the products that I promote and help people with.
Wonderful, John. And we're almost out of time, which I can't believe. I can't believe it already. I know.
I have one formula here I want people to know for hormonal balance. And
Please do.
on the behaviors that stimulate the hormones. You have to have the nutrition to make it. You have to have the behaviors to stimulate it. We'll have to do another talk on that. Because whenever a woman, for example, is sharing her feelings, negative feelings even, if somebody's listening with empathy, she makes estrogen. Very important you have the right stimulation. And if you feel unsafe to share what you feel, your body makes testosterone and suppresses your emotions, your feminine side. And that will drain your adrenal gland. And all of your good hormones, progesterone and estrogen and oxytocin, all these good hormones that women are running low in when they're stressed. And the same hormones will lower her stress. Not taking them, making them, is making sure your adrenal gland is healthy. And there are doing a cleanse is one of the healthiest things you can do to restore your adrenal gland, along with 3 supplements. And I'm feeling rushed. I can't remember the 3 supplements, but one of them is MSM. You know MSM, right? It's sulfur. If you put MSM in your body, the first place it goes is to your adrenal gland. It's sulfur. It's how your body rebuilds itself. So MSM is something, go on, build up to 2 teaspoons a day of MSM for 3 months to help. And it's proven to increase a hormone called DHEA, which is the mother hormone that makes estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. So that MSM is a key factor there. That's 2 teaspoons a day. You start with 1/4 teaspoon because, again, it causes detoxification. Then you've got vitamin C. You want to be taking every 3 hours, ideally, or at least a total of 5 to 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day for 3 months. Now, if you start getting diarrhea, then you just cut down from that and you slowly build up to that. So you're really flooding your body with vitamin C, because vitamin C also, the first place it goes is to your adrenal glands. It helps you in your adrenal glands. And then there's one other supplement that my mind is blanking on because I don't do it anymore. But,
we're going to catch it on the next time, because I honestly want to have you back on to do full supplements and a protocol and talk about how the integration of this. We just barely scratched the surface, and I can't believe we're all out of time. John, tell everybody what website it is that they can find everything you're doing.
It's called marsvenus.com. And right there on the front page is the most wonderful free course called How to Get Everything You Want in Relationships. And we have it tailored for single women, for single men, for men in relationship, for women in relationship, 4 different courses. We set it up for you. Also, right on the front page is my wellness guide, 500-page downloaded program of different protocols for every single condition that somebody might have. And it's not the only protocol, because Sarah has great products. I've been testing them myself. And so there's a lot of different ways to climb that mountain, but it's always another point of view. It's good to have that. And it's free. Check out my protocols for things which can be helpful. So that is marsvenus.com. And the other final thing is go to my academy. And at my academy, there's courses. And one course is by Lauren Gray, my adult daughter, who's put together a course for women only. It's called How to Get Your Me Time. And another way you could translate that too is how to find happiness without depending on a man and training him to make you happier. That's what the course really is.
Maybe I should have your daughter on as well. Well, thank you, John, so much for coming on. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. John is someone you've got to put into your daily life, whether it's listening to his podcast, going and reading his ebooks, or reading his real books, which I absolutely really recommend, Beyond Mars and Venus. And thanks again for joining us. You can find this podcast on all of the podcast platforms you subscribe to. Please leave a comment and like and subscribe to help this channel and help support acceleratedhealthproducts.com. We are on every week, Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And thanks for joining us here on Accelerated Health Radio and TV. Thanks, John.
Thank you.